Grammar e-lecture, The Flash. All right, well, The Flash deals with a little extra leftovers in the verbs. We're going to play with the middle voice for a bit, talk about infinitives, some we've not covered yet. Imperatives, some we've not covered yet, and the irregulars. Well, let's start with the middle. What is the middle? We're familiar with this from previous chapters. Lo, lumai, luetai, luamatha, luesta, luontai. Notice those connecting vowels in the alpha contract or in the epsilon contract. So therefore, those are, remember, since there's an alpha on the stem that allies with the omicron of the ending to create omega. The alpha in the stem allies with the epsilon to create an alpha sub with a iota subscript. When they ask you on the test, is this verb alpha contract or an epsilon contract, they won't be easy like right here. They'll probably go to the unusual forms, the omega or the oo of the omicron upsilon. Now, but middle voice deals with things that you are doing for yourself or upon yourself. In the present, it can be the passive. You'll only know it's a passive if there's a hupo agent phrase with it. But the rest is just translated as I am doing this for myself, putting my own clothes on. The middle voice still works in the imperfect. So though it is a progressive past, you have a different ending, you have a epsilon augmentation and different endings, it's still the middle talks about doing something for yourself. I was destroying myself, or I used to destroy myself. The future, same idea, because it's still middle. It doesn't matter whatever tense it is. Notice the sigma, but because it's still middle, it's still acting upon itself. So the middle is acting directly on himself to anoint oneself, to adorn oneself, to crown oneself. And certainly that you could use the middle for anything else, provide food for oneself. All right, so the young men bear the athletics, bear for themselves the athletics. The young man bears for himself the athletics. So therefore the youth exercises sport. You are approaching. Some verbs are deponent, passive and form, active and meaning. So we're dealing with just a second singular. No, it's second plural. No, it is second singular. That is an error in the question bank. Fun. Let's talk about infinitives. Infinitives do not have tense. Why are they called present infinitive? It's formed off the present stem. Why is it called the future infinitive? Formed off the future stem. Why is it called an aorist infinitive? It's formed off the aorist stem. Now, I know that we won't cover the aorist for a bit, but we'll cover this in the grammar. So therefore, the present infinitive symbol alpha contract on, and then of course ani for that's irregular for sum for the ami verb. Middle is luesta, temesthai, poiesthai. Future, same idea. Loose, it's still the same endings. You just add in the sigma infix. It's easiest. There is no infinitive of the imperfect, but the aorist, which is a form of the past tense, does have an infinitive. You have the first aorist, which is also called the weaker aorist, which takes off the epsilon augment, and they have these nice endings right there, psi endings. And then the same thigh endings. You just have a different stem, which we'll talk about. And then, of course, second aorist is more of what's also called the strong aorist. And that's there. So the infinitive indicates merely aspect. The present infinitive would be a continuous aspect. The aorist, a simple aspect. Do it quickly, or versus keep on doing it, versus a future infinitive where it's going to do it or intending to do it. So the present infinitive is simply philein. He told the slave to free, so it's a simple infinitive. And then let's talk about imperatives. All right, there are present imperatives, which are rather straightforward. Tema, temate, lue, luete. The middle imperative, of course, lu este. Tema, temaste, poiu, poieste, indicating continuance. There's also the aorist infinitive imperative, which we will not see on the test for a few months, but it'll come, where you take the present, the first aorist stem, loose, right? So therefore you knock off the augmentation, and you end on the endings on or ate, I or aste. This would be the imperative. The middle first aorist imperative for the middle, lepe, lepete, lipu, lipu, lipeste. So in other words, it looks just like the indicative, present indicative. All right. When you have may, you're dealing with an imperative or an infinitive. Don't drive the oxen. Second plural, present imperative, philo, filete. That'd be a present imperative active. May, dule. Who's it talking to? One person. Therefore, it's a second singular, and it must be imperative. Imperative. Why? Because you have the may there. All right, well, irregular verbs, something to watch out for. Erkomai, which means go. In the future, it looks almost like what? Amy. The only difference are a couple accent changes. Tends to like to have the accent at the beginning. Whether or not you'll have this on the test, I doubt it, but you should be prepared. So the second plural imperative of Amy is Esta, and that takes care of the Flash. Irregular imperatives, infinitives, and the middle. Good hunting.